In this episode, we're going to be talking about Part 4 of the Vermont School Bus Manual, Student Management. It's important to remember that a school bus driver is responsible for his bus and everything that happens on it, which includes student management. So you have to know how to deal with students. My name is Mike. I'm a CDL Class B school bus instructor. Welcome to Vermont School Bus 101. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into Part 4 of this manual, Student Management. Be sure to read through those paragraphs because I want to drive it home that you are the one responsible for everything that happens on your bus, including student management. However, it is up to state law, school districts, and your company to make sure that you are properly trained in handling students and in emergency situations as well. Now, into control and disciplinary action. It's important for the rules and regulations on how to manage students is clear to the bus driver, the students, the parents, the teachers, and your company. Make sure that they're posted somewhere on the bus, and each of these should be given copies of what to expect from students. For me, I go over a list of what I expect from my students every morning for the first week of school to make sure they know what to expect. Now, under desirable student conduct, get to know your students and treat them with respect. Make sure you get to know their first name, call them by their first name. But also let them know that when you mean business, you mean business. So go over this list of rules with them. Read through them as we go over them. The first one is how to get on and off the bus safely. Make sure that they know that. Make sure that they know they have to be quiet enough on the bus so that you're not distracted. Make sure they know how to cross the road safely, and make sure that they know not to destroy any property, especially writing on the seats, cutting the seats, or anything like that. Make sure they know that they can't hang out the windows in any way. They can't throw things around the bus or throw things out the windows. They have to be at the bus stop on time, and they can't get off the bus anyplace else other than their stop without written permission. Now, under disciplinary action, it's important for the bus driver, you, to be aware of what's happening outside the bus in order for safety. But if an unruly student starts to act up that you just have to deal with, the second paragraph describes very well on how to handle that. So let's read that one together because there are test questions about this. If at any other time the driver needs to handle unruly behavior, they should pull off the road in a safe location and firmly tell the students what behavior they expect. The driver may also need to request an unruly student be moved to a seat nearer to the front of the bus. It is important to remember the driver has no legal authority to put a pupil off the bus except at a regular stop or at the school loading station. Now, having said that, I quite often move students to the front of the bus. I have 2 empty seats up front just for those kind of students, and that usually works pretty well. Now, you can do this sort of action without yelling or shouting, but just be firm, and it works pretty well. Now, under reporting disciplinary problems, be sure to write down any problems that did occur. If you have a write-up process that you have to give your school administrator or your company, whatever the case might be sure to write them down. Leaving a paper trail is important because, or if there is a further problem down the road, it requires more discipline. And also, under mandated reporting, be sure to remember that you as a bus driver are a mandated reporter. That is, if you suspect child abuse or problems with a child at home, You're mandated to report that to the Department of Children and Families. Be sure you are familiar with your company's policies on how to do that. And if you read through the list on that page, you'll see the importance of who is a mandated reporter and what to do about it. So be familiar with that list. Now let's talk about school bus evacuations. This should be done twice a year, once at the beginning of the year and once halfway through the year. It has to be done on school grounds, and school personnel should be observing and assisting as well. Teach the students how to evacuate the bus safely. This has to be directed by the school bus driver. Now, usually it's safer to keep the students on the bus. So try to imagine managing a bunch of students on the bus or off the bus. It's okay to ask a couple of the older students to keep the kids together while you're evacuating and to help you. So determine the type of evacuation that's needed. Is it fire or danger of fire? Are you stuck on a railroad crossing? Are you near a bank where you might tip over into water or something? Determine the type of evacuation that's needed. And then secure the bus, and if time allows, radio your dispatcher, tell them your location, the conditions, and the type of assistance needed. Well, the last paragraph there is where the authority comes from for this. Title 23, Section 1085. Let's just read through that. At least twice during each school year, each pupil who is transported in a school bus shall be instructed by school authorities in safe riding practices and participate in emergency evacuation drills. So read through this section. It's an important one, and there will be test questions about it. Well, I hope this video has been helpful. Ask your instructor about any questions that you might have before you go take your test. So thanks for joining me on School Bus 101.